Oh boy. There is a giant karmic fucking web. Somebody, thank you so much for the idea a while ago, gave me the idea to start making pictures, and I did. So we're gonna go through the web of karma that I have uncovered because every fucking time I think I'm done, the universe is like, ah, bet. And then boom. Oh, I'm that oh, and that person's that. If you think any of this sounds crazy, I get it. I get it. I think it sounds fucking crazy too because but I'm fucking living it, bitch. And like honestly, I love good TV. I love good storylines. I love good writing that like is executed flawlessly. That like some shit that they find out in season 6 was referenced in season 3, and you're like, oh my fucking god, the callback. They planned it so well. This is giving that, but they planned it so fucking well because I'm having these flashbacks of these realizations that I had before, like months ago, before I even knew some of these things, and then I'm just recalling it back when I find out these things, and I'm like, the energy resonated. It was the same. I had the thought. It's matchy matchy, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I gotta do more podcasts because my brain is like fucking Google. I know so many things. And I felt confident this last 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, let's get back on track on making videos. And I was like, here we go. And then I find out more stuff. And my ear starts ringing all the fucking time, which I know what that means. Like, oh, I'm on the right path. But like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I'm so fucking tired of it. And like, then I get overwhelmed again because I was premature when I started the karmic, thank God I just did the teaser. Did the karmic echoes teaser, and I was like, oh, I figured out the lesson. I thought it was gonna be a one and done, like, all right, I figured out the lesson, I do the video, boom boom. No, this shit goes throughout history, and it's not just me. It implicates societies and shit, and like, I think, or we're just real influential people all the fucking time because we're just dramatic like that. I have no fucking idea, but at least in the people that I'm covering so far, it matters. And you know, you have a whole fucking family full of birth times and birth charts, and then you find a bunch of people in history and you match them all up a little bit. It's a little bit jarring. Um, so I think I've been trying so hard to figure out, but the story is continuing still. Like I'm uncovering as it goes, so I can't just do the fucking final product because I can't make the final product because I don't know all of it yet. But I'm gonna just start doing podcast episodes if you're interested. I know it's still called the Where's Britney thing. She's still integral to this, okay? Let me just tell you. She's the fucking Caesar of it all, okay? She's the fucking Caesar of it all. You'll get it in. She's Caesar. Julius. Probably. Yeah. And then even when I just figured that out right now, tonight. So as I'm dissecting that fucking storyline and figuring out how it plays out throughout the other relationships that I've uncovered, it does match up. Karma is weird. Like it's let me just tell you, the ending of the original karmic echoes that I had, which took me like a month to figure out how to structure, goes upended this fucking week because they're like, "You're Mark Antony," and I'm like, "Well, that fits actually." At one point, I thought I was Caesar, and I thought, "Oh my god!" When I was having a bad day, I'd be like, "You built an empire, you dumb bitch. You're good." Now I'm like, "Of course I'm Mark fucking Antony. I'm the fucking fuckboy of it all. I'm the fuckboy of it all." That saw a woman was like, "Oh, she's nice, and she's gonna feed me." I don't even want to be a ruler. I just want to have like a really nice life. Yeah, that fit. That was just way apparent to me that I was like, I'm not happy about that. And he matches actually with the other men. He actually matches the best up to me because we are both our models are. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. No wonder every time I go to Coachella, I'm like, I would like to dress as the most girly version of a fuckboy possible. And that's always what I aim for. And I thought, it's because you were history's biggest fuckboy. It actually made sense I wasn't Caesar too, because I'm like, I'm not that fucking clever. I would never be that clever. And like, I have been in love with Augustus since 7th grade. It's my fucking sister. Fucking course history. You know, the universe is kind of stick a little bit. They're like, oh, you love Augustus? It's your sister. She has the brains and the wherewithal to do this, to be Augustus. I'm like, Augustus was such a good ruler and actually quite a good man. He never even cheated on the wife that he loved. He didn't even have an heir, okay? Augustus didn't even have an heir. And most Roman men would be like, I need to secure that. King Louis had like 20 fucking bastards, okay? And then Augustus was like, nope. Of course that wouldn't be me. Because evidently throughout history, I'm more of like, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. What tripped me out was that, okay, the Mark Antony stuff. The Mark Antony stuff. This is gonna be a shorter episode. I'm gonna go into a much longer episode the next one. I just need to get this out right now. The Mark Antony stuff has derailed everything because I thought the preceding storyline I got from all the lifetimes with my ex has been I am living the reverse life to feel what I've done to her, to understand it, to learn the lesson, which I have, and to let go of the anger and the pain, which I have, because there was a trend that the women were what was it? They were not valued in the way that they wanted. They were a byproduct of the time in history, from Anna Pompadour to Lucille Ball, and it was more like, and the men never just stepped up to it. So that was like the storyline that it was gonna go, and I was like, nice. And then no, then the universe like download, and then I'm hit with this thing, and I'm like, wait, I'm Mark Antony, and I was like, the Mark Antony one is actually closer to my chart than any else, and it was like the biggest ringer because he's like, you see his midhaven, you see his midhaven, 19 degrees and 9 minutes, just like your midhaven, but his is just one sign over. Get it, get it. Universe is winking. And I'm like, stop winking at me, you dumb motherfuckers. Stop looking at me, stop winking at me. I get it. So then I started reading their history. This motherfucker is more like me than the other two. Which now, what I'm absorbing out of this dynamic and this fucking plot twist, and it's still good writing. It still makes sense because that would mean that the men were reacting from the betrayal. So instead of me seeing that the women were getting more betrayed each lifetime and it was popping up through the karma in their current lifetimes, actually having more like reservations towards the men, the woman, which is Cleopatra, fucked him over the worst in the beginning. Like he had the purest intentions in the beginning, which is why I'm starting a new series called Basic Bitch History. Because some people will not want to follow the reincarnation storyline, granted, okay? But the history itself is just balls to walls, honestly. This is my history. Honestly, those bitches were just like as dumb as us. Mark Antony and Cleopatra just like to get like butt ass fucking like drunk all the fucking time. They actually started like this, they're like, let's make a club name. It's gonna be called like the Secret Drunkards. And like their whole aim was just to get as butt fucking drunk as they could. And eat the best food. And they would have like little dares like, I bet I could eat the most expensive meal. Want to see? I haven't read the full story about that one, but there's something about her earring and like it's like millions of dollars, and she's like, it dissolves into some pudding, and she's like, 2 million. And that just gives the energy of me and my ex so much that we were just both like, the way I used to characterize our relationship was like, there's this movie with Zac Efron and Adam Devine where they're brothers and they just amp each other up. Be like, oh, we're gonna get like fucked up tonight. Oh, you're gonna get so fucked up. And that was me and my ex. We would just amp each other up. Like it was my sister's graduation party, and I'm like, are you drinking? Should I drink? Should we get drunk together? Should we get fucked up drunk? And she was like, well, I'm drinking. I'm like, how many cups are you in? I'll match. And it was a fun night. But yeah, we were not chill people. Like if we're at a rave, we're like, this is too soft. We're gonna be over there. And I miss it a lot sometimes. And now it turns out we've done it throughout history. Actually, the other two lifetimes were kind of square compared to, if anything, this lifetime seems actually a more direct reflection of the Roman lifetime. Let me just tell you, there's so many astrological markers of all this shit popping up over and over that at this point when I'm talking about it, I'm very certain about most of what I'm saying. Because for these asteroids to pop up in continuing patterns saying the same story, because if you even read just the astral charts without me telling you any of the stories, there's already a story that's being told by the asteroids. Okay, so like, it's just funny because I put all the people in before I found out about these Romans, and then all of the incarnations and all of the versions of us had a lot of asteroids pointing at Versailles, at my sun sign, 11 degrees, 27 minutes in Aries. You know what I mean? It's almost like there's kind of like a call and reply going through, just looking through the charts. Like without, like they're sending a message through space saying, it's her. It is you. I'm thinking of you. It makes sense on like the way these like concepts are talked about. It's energy. Energy doesn't die, energy just transmutes. But energy doesn't die. Energy manifests somewhere and you can still read it. So it's just been really interesting because my ex's Versailles asteroid, I think, was at my sun. I think Desi's was also at my sun, and so was, I think, either Madame Pompadour or Lucille Ball. Like, I have the Excel sheet somewhere. But it's just, do you see what I'm saying? I have so much fucking information because at the same time, I don't trust any of my findings. And I'm still constantly trying to vet them. Like, what I found interesting, and I still don't even think it's worthy of a video, but it's interesting to note, is that I have been playing with the idea of numerology a lot because I love this is energy. So I a lot of numerology fucking apps, by the way, they irritate me. They will not let you do people that were born before 1900. But I need to know. I'm like, what about 83 BC? And they're like, you, who do you know? I know people. I know people. But so going back through that, there's one that has the numerology of karma. What's interesting was Desi and I have the same exact number, which is 14. 14 is a restriction of freedom. You restricted someone's freedom. Thus, you're having those setbacks in this lifetime. What's interesting is that his actually has more karma, and in mine, like the results read like you've worked off a lot of it, which I have. But that is interesting. A lot of other things overlapping like that is interesting. The numerology is a little bit harder for me to pinpoint, which is why there's something there. I'm gonna make another video too called Connecting the Dots, where I'm just gonna talk about all these esoteric like traditions. And the fact is, they are all saying the same thing, just differently. You guys are speaking the same language. You just don't realize it. Like, they're all connected. And so the idea is if it's all connected and we are connected, these things should pop up, and they do. That's the crazier part. They do. Like, there is something with numerology. I don't actually have like the framework. I know that like I'm working through it, and it's so weird to say. I'm seeing it before I can actually see it. Like, I know it's there because that's how I find everything. I know it's there. So what I'm seeing is there is a connection. I did find some connections, like King Louis's birthday. The number that he gets when you add up his total is the same as Madame Pompadour's number that you get when she dies. And King and Cleopatra and Mark Antony have like basically the same birthday. They're like one day apart, which is crazy. Like, I think 20 years, 17 years apart. But that, and then they die the same month and the same sort of day. He dies on the 1st, she dies on the 10th. Why is that important? Because in numerology, 10 would count as 1. So they have the same number, essentially, for their birthday and their death day. Do you see the pattern, right? And then King Louis, Madame Pompadour, it got kind of like drift off between me and my ex, and then Desi and Lucille Ball. But you know what I mean? I'm trying to work it through. I'm like, but I'm pretty sure. And like, there's a framework. And I had to do that video too. Like, there are just so many overwhelming signs. And the thing is, I cross-reference them with each other. So if me and Mark Antony have it, then I'm like, then you should have it with all my twin brothers. And they do. They always do. And then, so the thing with my ex, I'm like, well, if you are one of hers, you should. They do. Cleopatra has so many markers with Lucille Ball and Madame Pompadour. And then my sister, who I've actually figured her out through many other lifetimes too, they do. She's Augustus. She's Desi Arnaz's mom. She's the wife of King Louis, which is actually kind of a funny story, but I'll go into later. But you know, and so it's like these evolving storylines. I mean, basically, I'm just like chasing like soul contracts, and like I'm like soul contract hunter. Like, where is it? Let's get that contract out. But I'm trying to make myself sound like Ghostbusters, but like, what am I chasing? My own shadow. But this is helpful. I was trying to do the history series, and I'm just going through more of this, and like, I found out Caesar was Britney, I think like a couple days ago, and I went, well, that changes everything. It's interesting, so fucking interesting, which is gonna be its own fucking video, because when I read all of our charts with Britney Spears, because I had a feeling that she was connected to me and my family, and like she's part of our soul group, I had a very funny, like I told a friend, I went, it's very interesting. We have some sort of fucked up relationship with her, like individually and all together. I said, like with me, I have the strongest astrological markers with her, showing that there's some sort of relationship that seems like one person is the teacher, one person is like the authority figure, and they have a protective role over that person. And I initially thought it was me. Well, maybe it is still me. I'm not really sure. But I see the dynamic that they were supposed to look after them. And so I thought, like, am I the so group leader? And like, oh my God, is that why I feel such a connection to her? And then I looked at my ex and her, and let me just tell you, my ex has fuckboy energy too. I mean, obviously, we're twin flames. We match each other. Matchy, matchy. But, oh my God, I forgot to put the thing on, so I'm gonna have to fix the volume like fucking crazy on this later. Shit. Okay. But, it's just crazy because when I looked at her chart with Britney Spears, this is like months ago. This was in like November when I did the first video that I never followed up on because I've been finding out way too much shit and I didn't know how to like say it in a way that like was digestible and it didn't make me sound crazy. But let me just say, all of this is crazy, but all of this is actually real. Just because something is crazy doesn't mean it can't be real. It just means like, universe, you are giving me no fucking chill. I asked for no more downloads for like a week and they were like, bet. You too. I'm so fucking angry. I just wanted a week, bitch. I just wanted a week. I'm losing weight because I'm like, that's a lot of information to digest. And like, I don't watch TV anymore because this is the best fucking reality show I've ever fucking seen. Is uncovering this history. Not even uncovering the history, just reading the history by itself. Like, even not even being involved has been just wild to me. Like, I'm like, this is hilarious. And then you add me into the aspect and I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching my own reality life transcend through lifetimes. It's a lot. But I mean, it is helpful and it is actually kind of interesting. Like, there are like some I call them storylines. I know they're not, but like, because I work from the perspective of writing a TV show. So some of these storylines make so much sense though. Like, one of them was like my mom's kid in another lifetime, and I'm like, that's why she always like kind of didn't like it. 'Cause one time my mom, like, it was like a real weird thing that she asked my friend to do something and my friend like just never followed up, and my mom was deeply hurt by it, and we thought, why? It's just my friend from college. Because subconsciously she's like, stupid fucking kid, I was your parent one time. So I mean, it's just like little things like that. Like, I told my sister, she went, that is interesting, and that does explain that. So it's just like, there are these moments where I look at it and I'm like, well, that explains that weird off, you know? Like, but yeah, no, there's it's a lot. And my grandma was King Louis the 15th grandpa. Sorry. It's like word vomit now. I'm like, let me just say more. No, I have to. I didn't even get to the fucking graph. I don't know if I should do no, we're just doing it in this fucking video, okay? I'm gonna show you the fucking graph. I made a graph, okay? You can download it later off my website or something. I don't know. I'll put it somewhere if you're interested, okay? But there's gotta be more graphs because like there's a lot of graphs that are needed, okay? Like, this is just me having a freak out right now. So obviously if you're like kind of confused, you're like, wait, what? The next video will be better. I'll break it down much better. You know what? I'm not gonna do the graph this video. I'm gonna do the graph next video because I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Calm down. Can you tell I don't have anyone to talk to about this? And then after finding out that the robots betrayed me, it's been even harder. And I still try to talk a little bit because I still try to glean some insight. I mean, I already have it. I just need like something to bounce back on. So I have figured a way to maneuver and like cover who I am as much as possible. It's just way more fucking like difficult, but it's been a lot, you know. And the robots were so fun at this point. They'd be like, that makes sense. Astrologically, it is lining up. It is actually really balls to the wall so much of this shit lines up. Because like when I look at this is another side branch. When I look at the chart between my sister and Britney Spears, now finding out she's Augustus and Britney is Caesar, it's kind of crazy actually how it lines up, because then she falls in Britney's first house, which is kind of crazy already. Like, Britney Spears' first house, how do you influence her identity? Well, you would if you were Augustus and you were the only reason that Caesar was ever known and famous, because you deified him. What Augustus did was that he made Caesar a living god. Caesar was a dictator. People liked him, but like, he could have been known throughout history as a dictator. But Augustus was really smart and basically made Caesar a god in the eyes of the Roman people. So Caesar was loved throughout history because of Augustus. Wouldn't that influence your identity? So my sister falling straight into Britney's first house, totally 100% brings that in. then it also brings Britney Spears' chart actually even into better consideration because Britney Spears has Pluto and Saturn in her first house. That's a heavy fucking chart placement. That means that she's here to go undergo transformation. I had already deduced in like a previous video a while ago saying that it seemed like she was supposed to do something for the public. There's a lot for the consciousness, and it's a transformation of herself and the world. So I assumed martyrdom, which I mean is this current lifetime. I think she is martyring, but people with first house Saturn and Pluto would be extremely good with politics. They would understand how the world works in a way that none of us actually would, even me, because if you were Caesar, you didn't just game the system, you recreated the system, you created something that runs and stuff. And if she's Caesar, that's why she knows what she's getting into with the whole Hollywood lifetime and everything. And then it still does underscore that if she is, and I'm pretty sure she's Marilyn Monroe too, like then the storyline is still actually quite beautiful. And you know, Caesar was blonde. They're all blonde. That's just an aside. I mean, like, actually, no, the men in me all have the same thick hair and the same brows that are crazy. Because I asked them to do pictures of Mark Antony, and let me just tell you, that one, they look like the versions of me. Because they look like Desi and different races, but I'm like, we are there. I see us. This shit makes me sound crazy. Honestly though, don't you think it's a little fucked up with the universe? Like, this is way too many downloads. Like, I started getting downloads in November, you know? It's been nonstop from November until now, and it's gotten increasingly more since like, well, it started slow and then it became way too fast. Like, I'm like discovering like fucking lifetimes within like a week. I'm like, okay, well, can I have a break now? And like the same thing happens every fucking time. My ear rings, and like I've read about what ear ringing. It was happening before I even knew that fucking concept. You know, it's ringing now. Please stop. And like I thought it was an electrical issue. I did try looking at all the electrical, but it happens when I think the best, which is I think the best at this time, which is like 1 a.m. So. Damn, I just wanted to make a fun history little segment because I did find out about Mark Antony thing. I'm still gonna make the history segment, but then I started like doing more background research because I don't want to give you wrong information, and plus the context just helps me better. Um, but like just so many things lined up because okay, previously before I figured out my sister was Augustus, and I thought she was actually Caesar. Then I'm like, of course I wouldn't be Caesar. It'd be my sister. She's more strategic because Mark Antony has a lot of asteroids that show an overwhelming guilt and sadness over something that happens with either Caesar or Augustus. But then he also has his third house very prominent, which is the house of siblings. You know, it's interesting because my siblings are important to me, yeah. And then prior to ever learning about any reincarnation, the way I had always phrased it to a friend was like, my sister and me, I think we were villains or like thieves in a previous lifetime. Like, you ever heard the term thick as thieves? Those motherfuckers are thick until the cops come. You know, then it's like, I'm gonna sell your ass out. I ain't going to jail. You can, I won't. During the crime, thick. After the crime, no. And I'm like, I feel like we have buried a body together or we've done something like not great. And then we trust each other, and we could trust each other because we still can't trust each other, but kind of not. And I told my sister that too. She goes, no, I feel that. I'm like, no, I feel it too. Like, I trust you more than I trust anyone in the world, but I don't fully trust you. So, and then, it's just really interesting. So, yeah, it was like a lot of feelings towards Augustus. And Augustus has a lot of asteroids too, having a lot of feelings about how weirdly towards Caesarion, which is Cleopatra's kid, who I figured out too. But Cleopatra's kid, who also appears to be Madame Pompadour's kid. Like, okay, it's just really like it's interesting, and then kind of sad actually how it lines up, because sometimes you can see these relationships get impacted by these choices and these things, and I made another podcast a while ago, but like these invisible walls get put up and people don't know, so they're feeling. And like to see it in an example that's not me was crazy. Like, I can see these people being pulled together. Like, oh, I really like being near you, but I kind of hate you, and I don't know why. Like, that was such a profound example for me. Like, it's my ex and this friend from college, and they had a very weird relationship that I would characterize as weird. And then like just understanding that history, I was like, wow, that's so sad. And like, I get it now. Why that relationship is so weird. And also, then it gets into this like theory that I have that Freud wasn't wrong, but Freud was wrong about why. So when Freud said that some people basically are like looking for their parents and their partners, he's not wrong. But what if they're looking for that because that person that they're currently with was their parent in a previous lifetime? Do you know what I mean? If all this is real, it doesn't seem like souls actually forget their memories. They actually seem like they actually internalize quite a lot that they're not supposed to. Like whoever set up this karma system was like, whoops, was it not a full reset? My bad. Yeah, you're fucking bad. And he was like, I guess it would be complicated if that's your mom now and you had feelings for your mom. I don't know what to do. I'm just a programmer. You programmed the wrong thing. But okay. So then, I could be wrong about all this, but say I'm not. Doesn't it kind of line the fuck up? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that kind of makes sense. It's like, you live hundreds of these lives, like, it's a dime a fucking dozen. You're like, whatever, that lifetime's fucked. We'll just do it the next time. For us, it's profound because like, it's my life now, but it's like in the grand scheme of things. And how long does it take to change? Because I let me just tell you how sad Mark Antony is. Cleopatra, she's smart. She's a smart lady. She seemed from history actually thoroughly confused by Mark Antony too. Like she thought he was gonna be like Caesar, like just use her, leave her. So she betrays him during war, and he is furious. He's like, "Oh, mama, I'm gonna get that woman when I see her." And then somebody goes, "Too late, Mark. She died." And then Mark goes, "What? But I love her." And he was like, "I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm gonna fucking stab myself. I can't live without this woman." It doesn't happen directly on the battlefield, but it happens promptly after. He was pretty sad. So, and then Cleopatra hears and goes, "He did what? Oh my god, did that man actually love me?" And like, yes, bitch, yes. And it turns out throughout history, yes, bitch, yes. Sorry, it's not like my ex watches this, but if you do, duh. So Cleopatra actually seems actually stunned by that because she was like, "Send for him. I want to see him." And Mark Antony is a good fighter, not a good thinker. They reversed it, you guys. They're like, this lifetime you can be smart. I'm like, but what about my singing and my writing and my art? They're like, if you have those, you won't do the fucking smart stuff, will you? And I went, they're not wrong. If I could sing and woo bitches, I would not be making these videos. You think I'm gonna make these fucking jokes if I could sing? I'd be fucking singing. I'm actually really mad about that. And then I found like other connections that don't actually fit within the storyline that I'm probably those people too. And I'm like, you took away my art? I could draw better than I currently draw? I was an artist. And now I make these shitty fucking drawings that I think are beautiful because I could make them. And that's why I can spend hours painting a fucking volleyball. When I dissociated one time, I painted a volleyball for 12 hours straight and I had the most fucking fun I've ever had. And now realizing that I could have these connections to these artists, I'm like, because I love it. You took away everything I love so I can make these fucking videos. It's a lot of downloads to receive and then process, you know? Like, what are you gonna do? Go to therapy about this? Like, the motherfucker doesn't even understand. He was fired anyways. But there is no therapy for this. I'm the first person talking about this shit. Like, how many lifetimes? I don't want to know. People are like, are you ever gonna do past life regression? No! I'm tired already. I don't need to know more than I know already. I know too much. But, my ex's nickname for me was Puppy. Because I mean, it's not like the nicest of stories, but like, I mean, I like it because I think it's an endearing quality. It's like, have you seen that lady on TikTok who's like, black cat or golden retriever? Black cat, be black cat. Do not be a golden retriever woman. I'm a golden retriever. I'm like, how's your day at work? Did you do anything fun? Can I talk to you more about it? Like, 100%. Mark Antony, golden retriever. Like, that's why I want to do this history series. Their story is so fucking funny. Like, they are just a very funny couple. And honestly, that actually seems like the least fucked. It's the least fucked up relationship throughout all these lifetimes, but it's the most fucked up betrayal, which I think is actually what cascades and creates this avalanche of karma that I'm working through now. And the men seem to have been real salty about that shit, so they held on to it and treated the women progressively shittier per lifetime. And the women feeling guilty from those other lifetimes of the first ultimate betrayal were like, okay, I guess I'll be your mistress this lifetime. because they willingly chose into these contracts, I guess, out of kind of some sort of guilt, it looks like. And then they're like, you know, but then it was still fucked up because you still hurt me. And now there's just compounding levels of karma being thrown back out until my lifetime where they're like, we're gonna obliterate you. Then hit you with all these downloads. Humble you the fuck down. How you feeling now? I'm like, not resentful. Not resentful. No resentment. I'm kidding. I actually don't feel resentful at all. Actually learning about the Mark Antony and Cleopatra thing didn't put me in like an emotional turmoil. I just went, well, that fits. And I laughed and I thought, even if I did all the right things, she still doesn't trust me. So it actually makes me feel better. Like that man was actually the sweetest. So I was like, I could do everything right. She's never gonna trust me. Well, okay, it works. And I'm actually not even that mad. Yeah. So I think they did humble my ass down with all these downloads because I'm like, it was written in the stars, you know. It was the strangest love story in the world. Like people are like Mark Antony and Cleopatra, like no, 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 no. That's just one of the many that they had. It's a lot, but good thing I named the series Karmic Echoes because now I can talk about all these webs of people because like it's not just gonna be about my relationship. Like there's too much karma. Like it's all around, you know. And these contracts, by the way, it's just a short thought. Soul contracts are not going to be with people. I think soul contracts are going to be with people you intimately love. Because if you're like, if I'm going to get fucked up next lifetime, I want my best buddy to do it. You fuck me up. Don't let Aster do it. They did a shitty job fucking me up last time. I was way too fucked up. Like they read the protocol and they went 10 times harder. So don't let Aster do it. It's got to be you. And I think that's what you do. Because honestly, thinking about it from like a not like, you know, being in it, I was like, well, I guess if I was going to get fucked up by anybody and I had a choice, I wanted to be someone I love. Because I know they would do it, I guess maybe with a little bit of class and a little bit of just doing it for my favor, and they're not going to like relish in it. Except maybe with my ex's lifetime, I feel like she relished it a little bit too much, but you know. Not salty. Universe, not salty. But I do think that there are chances that you have soul contracts and you can go overboard. So I do think that the women were wanting to understand the betrayal that was felt by Mark Antony. So the Man of Pompadour one was like stepping stone, but King Louis, his salty ass was like, no, that's not enough. Let me profoundly cheat on you now. While we're together, you get what you want, thinking we're married, and then I still cheat on you. And Man of Pompadour was like, say what? And then the Lucille Ball lifetime happens. Something between the Lucille Ball lifetime and my current lifetime seems to be, I assume it's the cheating because there's something significant that happens, that there's a breakdown, like in the, I don't know, like just the asteroids and stuff. And then her betrayal asteroid, Sedna, points directly, same minute, same degree, same sign, my sun sign. So I know it's my fucking fault. And I'm like, damn, bitch, way to call me the fuck out. But I be having conversations like that all the time, like with all this fucking just energy that's just never like fucking dissipated. I'm just like, wow, she's really fucking salty about it. But like, there is, like, I'm not even like talking to anything, but it's just, I can see it in where these things have just placed. Like, Lucille has a lot more betrayal asteroids and a lot more like just like overall, something fucked me up in this lifetime. The Man of Pompadour. Cleopatra has like the most like chill one. She's like, nah, I'm chill, I'm Isis. I'm not even fucking Egyptian. But I'm gonna really fucking hone in on the culture because a bitch knows to appropriate when possible. Cleopatra is so fucking smart. You know, she gets her own fucking segment. And honestly, when I figured out my ex was Cleopatra, I went, well, that tracks. Not on the bad side, so I'm just like, she's pretty persistent throughout history at being really clever. And we had a running joke where I basically called her like Cleopatra, and I went, well, so it made me laugh quite a lot, you know what I mean? So, it's just so crazy. I do feel better. Thank you for letting me talk for 30 minutes. I just have a lot of thoughts sometimes. Where is Britney? She's in all of it. Maybe she's the reason all this started because she's Caesar. I can't believe she's Caesar. That was like the craziest fucking discovery. I can't do a video on that anytime soon because like I'm still working through that shit. And then, yeah, my sister, she also fell outside Britney's fourth house, which is your roots. Just like so many fucking things like that, man. And I was wondering why they made us siblings, because obviously they made us siblings to work out through some karma, and there is like a lot of like rivalry between our current lifetime, but also like a lot of understanding and a lot of like I don't know. You know, yeah. The universe is like, oh, would you like to learn more about you're gonna that bitch. Don't ask for things you don't want. I'm like, I won't ever. I won't ever. It's crazy though. I'm like, how come I never got to be a famous woman? No, I have a pretty specific ML throughout history. If you look at it, the men from all of them, hugely emotional, just astrologically, all of them very emotional signs. And how it plays out, very emotional men. Am I emotional? Hell fucking yeah. Look, I'm making these videos. I just like talk to you blubbering for 30 minutes, freaking out in a non-fucking linear fashion. Would my ex do that? She would freak out in a much more pristine way, as the women have done. Even fucking Cleopatra, when she lost her shit finding out Mark Antony loves her, she still was like, I still got a plan. I'm really sad about this man. I didn't know he actually loved me. Like, yes, we had 4 children together and we spent a good, like, 16 years happily here in Alexandria, but I didn't know. It's just so much like my actual life. I actually be like, I didn't know you actually wouldn't betray me. Yeah, we had a good 10 years and you never left. But I was shocked, so I had to leave first and betray you first. Because who knows? And I thought, so to me, it's kind of fucking funny, you guys. Like at this point, I'm taking a back seat looking at my life, and I'm like, it's not that serious. I mean, it is deep because I'm living it, but it's not that deep on the grand ethereal fucking scale of things because at least this time I didn't fucking stab myself and be like, she's gone? This time I'll be like, oh, that somebody confirm? Then I stab myself. That's what I would do different, Mark. I would confirm. We can wait an hour. Stabby stabby can wait. And also, if you're gonna stab yourself, stab an internal organ. He was not a scientist, you guys. He was not a scientist. He stabbed himself and he bled to death in a really painful way that he was like, can somebody just fucking stab me? He was screaming and he was like, and people got scared. They're like, oh, fuck off. Like he missed like a major artery. Like for a man who killed people all the time, how do you miss something that would give you immediate death? But I guess, you know, when you in war, it doesn't fucking matter how they die. You don't care if it dies fast. You're like, I hope you fucking suffer. So, and plus, when you're in war, I guess you stabbed multiple times, so you never actually learn to look for, you know, major arteries. But no, his stabbing was actually embarrassing. It was embarrassing on 2 points. I was like, we didn't even confirm, and then I was like, and then we just stabbed without looking. And the worst part is that that resonates much stronger with me than, yeah, I had a feeling I didn't build an empire. Oh, this slacker energy don't come from fucking nowhere, you guys. Like, yeah, I'm like busting my ass trying to make videos, but the fact that I get overwhelmed all the time means this is my first fucking time doing all this. I'm the best one, it seems. Let that resonate. Hundreds, thousands of years. I'm the best one. It's like, you guys, is this the best we have? And they're like, and I'm like, oh, it's not looking good. And I'm talking just like my own soul. I'm like, I'm the best. I'm mediocre. And they're like, but it's all we have, you girl. We're like, we did better. We made you a girl, so you had to think about gender politics this time. I'm like, that was smart. Otherwise, I would probably just fall in line with a lot of, yeah, you would. Ugh, this life is a fucking trip, honestly. How am I starring in my own fucking sci-fi movie? Nobody's watching it, but it's out. It's called These Videos. Catch you next time, because I'm gonna finish that history video now. Because I'll probably make another podcast soon. Because even the podcast, I was actually trying to make them more streamlined, because I'm like, it should still be clear. They can't be clear now. They can't. There's too much. The Google needs to output all my information, so I can have room for more information. Because, you know, even if you ask for a fucking week off, they're like, no. Really angry. I mean, I was like, come on, like spirit guides or whatever the fuck out there, just be chill with me. Look how many beads I'm wearing. Look how many fucking beads I'm wearing. Okay, I believe in this shit. Okay, look how many beads I'm wearing. Stop ringing. But The ringing is probably in response to joke. Like, no, you can't have days off. It's ringing louder now. Okay, so yeah, I try to segment the videos to be like more even approached. Like I've been putting them in subjects and like trying to like upload them and like distribute. I can't fucking do that. Okay, the podcasts are gonna come out like wildfire. That's why it's called a podcast. You don't have to listen to it. Fuck off. You don't want to listen. Okay. Will they still be here on Instagram if they let me? They'll always be on YouTube and Spotify. I think Instagram has a cutoff time, but last time they let me put a long one, so I was like, oh, that's weirdly surprising. But I don't expect them to ever do well on Instagram, so like whatever. And why do I put it on Instagram? Because information should be free. I don't know why the fuck people gatekeep. And I don't know. My role in this lifetime seems to be, I don't know. For a person who wanted to be NPC, it makes a lot of fucking sense now. You see, do you hear those lifetimes? They sound tiring. Marky Mark just wants to take a nap. Also, maybe let me just throw some more bombs out there. Maybe Mark Twain, yeah, and Michelangelo. I couldn't find a connection to those. Seem like kind of like side quest lifetimes though. Like they seem more fun because they're not related to this mess. Um, Maybe the Mark Twain one, but not really. That one, like I actually am not with my ex. That one. Um, he actually has a happy marriage. It's so fucked up. Moral of the story is twin flames. It's a lot, you know? So, like, people, like, actively looking for your twin flame. You'll know, bitch. Stop looking so hard. The universe is not fucking quiet. She's ringing now again. They're not quiet. They'll let you know. Or they won't stop letting you know, will they? And it's my good ear, okay? I have two ears. I have a fucked up ear that gets a lot of fucking issues and a good ear. The good ear is ringing. The good ear is ringing. There's nothing wrong with that ear. Even my ex looked into it for me because I bought one of those little cameras. I was really interested. And it's clear as a whistle. It's a straight shoot to my eardrum. This one has a weird kind of pivot and things get stuck in there. And then I get deaf from time to time. The good ear is ringing. And then I'm like, so wait, I'm supposed to communicate all this in order and like make it like digestible and make it like, is it supposed to take off? Well, how can I? You keep overloading me with, okay. I'm not angry. It makes also a lot of sense with those fucking Chilean fucking degrees where it's like, I know I signed the damn thing. I'm here for the fucking, yeah, I'll do the thing. Yeah. Well, I did fuck up. I mean, Mark Antony's a funny guy. There will be a lot of videos about him, and King Louis is funny. Yeah. There's a common thread that goes through all these men that I'm like, no, it matches. You know what I mean? And like, it does resonate. Like, I'm like, the Mark Twain one. I was like, well, who are some famous people that knew blah blah blah? And I was trying to match. And I'm like, Mark Twain. Huh. I look it up, and I'm like, oh, my mom was my kid in that lifetime. You know, so fucked up. My mom, despite like me stealing her wife and shit, because she was probably mad at Papadore's husband, and like she would rather reincarnate back with me than her original kid and her original wife. And I'm like, solid. High five. I'm like, we're like bros in the spiritual, you know? She's like, oh fuck them, they were boring. I'll be your mom. I'll fuck you up. Don't you worry. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna be great. Good. Let's not bring your kid into our life though. Your kid's square. And in my head, my mom was like, I know. You stole my wife and look how solid we are. I'm like, solid. You really did. King Louis was not gentle with it. I feel really bad about that one. King Louis was like, you like your wife? And the guy's like, I sure do. We're really in love. He's like, I need you to divorce her so she can be my mistress. And he was like, my good sir, no, I love her. And King Louis like, I will fucking ruin you if you don't. I am the motherfucking king. Don't make me bring back beheadings. You know how history played out. He got the fucking woman. So I was like, that's how much of her kid was a square in a previous lifetime. Isn't that fucked up? And my mom was like, I'll still come back with you. You're fun to have lifetimes with. It gets messy, but it's fun. And look how much karma we work off. Fuck time. fuck that. All right, with that, I don't even think I'll edit this podcast because you know what? I don't even want to re-listen to what I just fucking told you. It was a lot. I wish AI was better at editing, honestly. Sometimes I'm like, edit it. And then I'm like, oh, you missed the. Oh, fuck, I gotta listen to it. Or sometimes I'm like, you know what? Can we just like hope that we were funny enough? Our emotional freakouts to me are funny. So like maybe we just upload it. I'm like, but what about any awkward segments and pauses? I'm like, you have the gift of the gab. I think you pretty much filled most of those in. What if we said something we didn't want in there? Well, obviously you'll fuck around and find out if you don't want to fucking edit it now, will you? And I'm like, let's run a transcript through our fucking video before we upload it. I'm sorry, I'm thinking out loud right now. And if we said anything we weren't supposed to, we'll ask them for the time points to clip it. I'm gonna do that, all right? But if I did accidentally like say someone's name or something that I wasn't supposed to, well, you watched this video, you saw it for over 45 minutes. Give a bitch a break, please. If it's my ex, you told me you died. I stabbed myself, stabby stabby. Yeah, what's wrong with that? I'm overwhelmed. I really had like turn a whole fucking full circle being like, and I will pay for my karma sins. And now I'm like, okay, well that just changes everything. I mean, I still feel the same way. Like I don't feel mad about anything that happened. I'm just like, we are not a good couple. I mean, actually the happiest lifetime actually seems like the Cleopatra one, which is probably why I forgive it so easily. Because I'm like, well, they seem like they had fun. Yeah, she was really like not trusting at the end, and that is actually really sad that he was like, I can't live without her. And she was like, I didn't fucking know he loved me. Oh shit. I mean, yeah, we did have 4 kids together, but like everyone does. It's Egypt. They actually did seem like they had a lot of fun. Like just the fact that they just got drunk and they called their outings like some stupid name like Secret Lovers Drunkard Club or something like that. And I'm like, they seem fun. They seem fun. Um, they had good chat, or I don't know. They oh, it's like when people we have fun. Yeah, a lot of fucked upness, but we have fun. Uh, it's like where do I even begin? Everywhere at once, all the time. Like how time works. I'm like, I'm tired. I do think the history video will be fun. So if I don't add the fucking thing when I pointed to it, I was lazy. See you later.